Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's the Inner Gamer Podcast discussion topic.
And this week we have...
The summer slog is coming to an end.
Thank
Finally.
God.
Yes. So summer's finishing up.
Yeah.
It is hot outside here in Texas.
It's actually hot in this room.
It's hot in this room. It's hot outside. It's hot everywhere.
Wonder why.
But it's one of those. So as gamers, we start at the beginning of the year. We're super excited about
It's the natural timeline of things.
what's going to happen. And the beginning of 2017 specifically was crazy. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, and we had Neo, and we had Nier Automata. We had the Switch. Which is Switch, and we had all these different things that came out, and then we hit summertime, and as usual, we have the summer slog. We look back to last year, 2017, right at the tail end, entering into the summer, we had Overwatch. So that was like, hey, here we go. Let's jump into summertime. Yeah. Overwatch is going to keep us company. This year we had like Battlegrounds, which has been awesome.
Right.
But not everyone can play Battlegrounds.
But not everybody can play Battlegrounds, exactly. So how have you guys been biding your time with this summer slog? What are some tips that you can give people? Let's start with Devin on dealing with summer slog.
I'm actually a bit of an anomaly this year specifically because I got my PC.
Yeah.
So for me, I got lucky for this specific summer. I got to play catch up. So with me getting on my PC, and then the Steam Summer Sale kicked off, and I got to I have a huge library of games now that I can play. Not everybody has that luxury, or if you're already caught up in the scene and you've already had a PC for a while or don't have a PC, you're probably sitting at home wondering, what the shit do I do with my time?
Just replay this game again for the 10th time.
Right.
Well, and there's something to that. And I think, Brett, as you mentioned, every single year, it's the natural progression with gamers in the cycle. The beginning of the year, you get some releases. In the summer, it's a desert. And then as we get into...
Literally here in Texas.
Yeah. And as we get into end of quarter or kind of mid quarter 3, getting into the holidays, it's just this jam-packed, huge funnel of games that you don't have time or money for. But in the summer, you got to do something to bide your time, right?
Right.
So in my experience, what I've done in the past is I do one of two things. I'll go and explore a game that I've had on my list. Everybody has a list of, man, I need to play that game. I need to get into that game. And this year for me, that's been, or at least with me getting the PC, it's been Darkest Dungeon. That was mine to finally get into.
Yeah.
And since I had a PC, and all I'd heard about is, dude, you would love Darkest Dungeon. You would love this Darkest Dungeon. And sure enough, I did. And I'm glad that I had it. I haven't gotten to play PUBG yet. Sorry.
That's okay. In due time.
Shame.
You will lose hours. I've reached now 42 hours in PUBG.
Damn.
55.
That's an impressive thing for me. Oh, you're only at 55?
Yeah, I know.
I feel like you should be way higher.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have 18 hours in duo play alone. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're jumping to me for that.
Yeah,
I've been playing
so,
PUBG this whole time. So
You've been doing PUBG it up for the summer.
The past 2 weeks has just been PUBG every time I have a chance.
Well, on your Switch, too, you've been doing some Switch stuff, right?
Actually, because of PUBG, I've put the Switch down a little bit.
Wow.
But now that Splatoon is out, I think I'm going to pick it up some more.
Yeah.
So I was going through my second playthrough of Zelda.
Right.
And I kind of wish I waited because I'm like halfway through. I say that. It's really hard to measure where you are. I got 2 of the Divine Beast, and then was it Master Mode came out? Or,
hard mode?
Hard mode.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
New Game Plus.
I wish I could have just waited. But from what Charlie's been telling me, it's kind of a bitch. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's a Lionel in the beginning area, which is one of the hardest beasts you could fight in the whole game.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But yeah, usually I would just pick up, get some games I've been wanting to play early on, like Little Nightmares, and come back to, actually I got Dark Souls 3 on PC, so I've been kind of slowly getting through that, but it's just trying to find ways to bide my time until fall gets here.
Until fall gets here,
Yeah.
when the big titles you've been waiting for a while are released.
I probably should be working more so I can be ready for all this, but I'm not because I'd rather play PUBG.
So when you guys come into this summer slog and you're looking at how am I going to, well, what am I going to play next? What is your thought process that you go through to figure out, here's where I'm going to go? You know,
Just what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have a library of games. I'm just like, I'm not feeling these 50 games. I'm just going to play this one.
These 50 games.
I got to admit, for me, sometimes it's been what game do I need to go back to?
Okay.
That's what I always go to first. I always sit here and think, is there a game that I haven't played in a while, or a game that I was playing that I never got a chance to fully explore something, or maybe it was a game that had multiple storylines and I wanted to explore another one, but I hadn't yet. I always go with that first. Is what I always go to. And what I did with that was in prior years, when I played Skyrim for the first time, I played Skyrim all the way through.
Nice.
Beat it. But that was just one character.
Right.
It was not until the summer after that Skyrim came out that I realized, like, man, there's a lot of other stuff I could have done in that game.
Yeah.
So I went back and I started like 2 other characters that I explored the game with, and got to see all the other factions that I didn't get to do. Because the first time I just played a Viking, and I was like, all right, let's kill some shit. Let's knock this shit out. I'm in Dragonama, bitch.
I thought about jumping back into that game. I was going through my library yesterday of Steam and like sorting through. Now that I finally discovered you can categorize your games, I was sorting through that library to like hide the things that I know I'm never going to play again and leave the ones in there that I have, and then mark the ones that I have played but
Nice.
may jump back into, like things like Firewatch and Borderlands 2 and stuff like that. I put in my played category, but I didn't want to hide it away because you never know, I might want to jump back into that experience. But I'm not a guy that replays games. Like I can't do it because I feel like there's so many things out there I haven't played. That there's so much that I haven't touched on that I feel like in a way I'm doing a disservice to myself to not play these new things that I haven't touched.
But how do you feel like you're not doing a service to the game that you didn't fully explore? Like this baffles
right?
me. Like I'm a bit taken back right now. I don't want to say I'm offended, but I'm just like,
yeah. Well, I mean, so I wrote an article last week that talked about my lessons for the last 20 years of playing video games. And the 3 things that I mentioned in there were, 1, you don't need to 100% a game. 2, well, according to this guy, you don't have to play everything, which is what I've learned as time gets smaller and smaller. I haven't. Like, I still have this huge library of things that I haven't touched.
Everything.
Oh, you're saying that you should.
You did.
no, you played the game, everything. That's the joke.
Oh, I get it. Zinger. That's funny. Look at this guy. He's making jokes and funnies and stuff. Anyway, so I did play everything.
Lost brain cells.
Yeah, it happened. So the last like main point was enjoying the experiences that you have. So that's what I feel like it's all about. And there's certain games that, like, for say Fallout 4, like everybody loved that game. Fallout 3, they loved it. I played it, I didn't like it. Should I go back and play that again? To me, no, because if I didn't like it the first time, there's a chance I could like it the second time, but there's so many other experiences out there that I could have so much more enjoyment with, like PUBG or like Left 4 Dead or different things like that, that I feel like I'm valuing my time more with that than wasting away.
Well, there's something to be said for that, and I'll grant you that, because when my very first play of Witcher 3, I don't want to say I didn't like it, but I was gripped, but I was pulled to something else I was still playing at the time.
Right.
Overwatch.
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
Well, that's like
I don't want to say that I was bored with it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to let my Overwatch high ride for a while, and I'll come back to this in a bit. And I mean, I did, which I then sunk
Too many.
I'm just gonna say a stupid amount of hours. I'll go with that measurement of time. A stupid amount of hours into Witcher 3. But I'm glad that I did, because I felt like if I tried to juggle it between my plays of Overwatch and then Witcher 3, I felt like one would have probably cheapened the other. And I'm kind of that way. Like I don't like to play multiple games at any given time. I like to focus my time on one.
Yeah. And I definitely, I think that's very true with a lot of situations, because, when Titanfall 2 came out, it came out a week before Battlefield 1, or yeah. And
something like that.
Yeah, it was bad timing, because if you go back to the podcast where I first talked about that and reviewed it, I was kind of mixed feelings about it. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't amazing. And then whenever I did have time to go back and actually fully experience it, I powered through the second half of it and was like, this is actually much better than I thought. So I had that game waited and came out a little bit later, I think it would have been much better received by everybody. And that's why I'm so glad that Red Dead Redemption decided to delay themselves, because that is a game that needs to come out on its own.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of games early this year that were pushed back from last fall.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that was good for them, because everyone had a chance to kind of play them, and you could probably catch up now to this point.
Yeah.
But I ran into the same problem you did when we first started this podcast, where it's at first I would be stuck on a game for days. We talked about Metal Gear Solid 5, Overwatch, and there was one more. I think maybe it was The Witcher.
Yeah. If you go back to the old podcast, 7 episodes in a row or all that.
And it was just man. And so now, if I can't
still
get through
playing Dragon Age.
Yeah, right.
He is still playing Dragon Age.
And Fable. He's doing some Fable too.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly Dragon Age.
He's not on this podcast. So fuck him. So I'm trying to get in all these games. Not only that I could talk about them, but there's so much coming out now. It's I need to dedicate my time. If the game cannot capture me in about the first 30 minutes, maybe an hour, I'm putting that game down.
Wow.
Yeah. It needs to capture me in a way that it wants me to keep coming back. The Witcher, PUBG, Overwatch, those games.
So the first half hour of a game for you is man, that is crucial.
So,
setting up the game, setting up the world, and setting up the character. I want to be involved in all that.
So don't play Nier, because I hear in the first 45 minutes there's no save point until after you beat the first boss. So if you don't like in that first 45 minutes and you die at the boss, you're probably never going to finish it. But apparently that game is amazing.
I really wanted it.
Yeah,
I really want to play it.
It's supposed to be so good, but that first hour is just the worst of the rest of the game.
Right.
Just like Prey was. That's what I heard. I haven't played Prey yet, but I hear the first hour of Prey is that way.
Well, Neo did that for me.
Yeah.
It was either Neo or Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
And I was Neo came out before, so let me get through Neo. And when I got into the game, it was fun, but it wasn't my game. And technically it is my game. It's very Dark Souls, which is cool, but I wasn't ready for that kind of slog. It was a little bit of a slog for me. So I was you know what? Horizon Zero Dawn, and it was the perfect game. Good story, good characters, something you could follow and really drive you through that world.
To kind of get us back on point here, and this is out of my own morbid curiosity, but does anybody have a memory of your worst summer slog? Can you think back to a year where during the summer you were I am fucking bored out of my mind waiting for that fall release, that winter release of a game to come out?
I feel up until last year and the year before, it's kind of been that way, because they're
2014, 2013, one of those.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just because we're more engaged in the community.
Shit, I don't know.
But I feel the beginning of the year is always, to me, a slog anyway.
Yeah.
But lately, I feel there's been a lot of positive things that have come up in the beginning of the year. And then there's a lot at the end of the year. So, I mean, the summer is still a slog, but you have all these games from the beginning that you can carry you through into the summer. But I can't really think of anything.
We're getting there where these games are just, there's so much coming out. Yeah. And now that you have a PC, I mean, is it ever in with you?
No, man, I'm good.
I feel this
Dude,
is
I'm set for decades now. Decades.
This one's been the best summer ever.
Yeah. I think mine was probably the year that Gears 2 was going to come out. and my friends and I were just desperately waiting for Gears 2. And it was like, I vividly remember we were so bored that we were in our Xbox Live arcade library and we were like, fuck it, let's play Worms. Let's just play Worms 2.
Just find something.
We were so bored with everything else. We were like, fuck it, I'm just going to throw worm grenades at you for at least the next month until this game finally came out.
Yeah. And
then it was like, I remember specifically being at work and the day we found out it was delayed until like November 10th or November 11th. And I was like,
yeah.
It's going to be forever. Yeah, dude.
For me, it was, I mean, the way I've been dealing with my summer slog this year, other than PUBG, is that I went back to some old, I haven't done it enough, but I went back to some old titles that I missed out 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever, like Life is Strange. Like I started playing that, which I was waiting for a period of time where I could really like sit down and enjoy it and stuff like that. But, yeah, and that's been awesome because it's
so
that
if you have a
period where I can
you basically
be satisfied.
You're set.
Yeah. So that's been cool. And then it's good. You know, what's also nice is the console owners, if you have the Xbox or the PlayStation or whatever, they have those free games that continue to come out.
Yeah.
And they've had good titles this summer. I mean,
well, they've had good titles.
Been nice.
In
general.
Like I'd say over the past like 8 months, the free to play games that you get every month, like nailing it.
Yeah. So if you like collect those in your library, those can hold you over through the summer too, you know, and keep you busy until things happen. So I think no matter what system you're on, you have something to keep you occupied. But
it's tough. It's tough sometimes though.
Oh yeah.
When you're in the mood to play a certain genre.
Right.
Like if you're like, I do not want to play. If I play another shooter, I'm gonna shoot somebody. So you're like, man, I'm really in the mood for a dungeon crawler. I'm really in the mood for a hack and slash. And if you don't have that and you're just waiting on that, it's like,
I've had those moments.
Man, how do you scratch that itch, man?
Like,
it's tough. It's a tough thing.
And you go back and you try to play these other games, it just doesn't do it for you.
Yeah,
that happened to me a lot.
Well, there's some games that you try to play again, you're like, man, fuck this game.
Yeah. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah. I tried to do that with Dark Souls 2 before Dark Souls 3 came out. And you have to remember, Miyazaki didn't make Dark Souls 2. His other team made that one because he was busy making Bloodborne at the time. Yeah. So like I tried to go back and play Bloodborne 2, and it's like I got to one of the
Dark Souls 2,
one of the frustrating bosses, and I was just like, stupid. I hate this.
Just wasted my whole hour.
I'm literally like I'm playing just like I hate this. I died again.
Moments like that makes me like,
it's frustrating.
I'm just like, I'm putting the controller down. I'm going outside. I'm gonna go watch a movie somewhere. Yeah. I'm done being inside.
Well, and I think that's when I have to go back to some of my other hobbies. Like, man, let's play some D&D.
Yeah, I was about to say that is something that's interesting because summertime is slow for games, but it's a very big time for movies and TV shows and things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, look at all the things that have come out this summer. We have Game of Thrones right now. We have like House of Cards, Orange New Black dropped. The North Remembers. Yes. Wonder Woman came out, and like Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man. So there's been a ton of stuff to like occupy us in other ways. So is that something that you guys do a lot?
Which is kind of uncharacteristic if you think for a summer. There's like that's
usually get one
in Transformers
in the summer. You usually get like
one in May,
one game,
one in like
one
June,
good movie. Maybe one or two shows are out there to kind of tide you over, but man, during the summer, like it's like media out there is just like go outside, and I hate it.
Yeah, because it's 100 degrees here.
Yeah. I live in Texas. I go outside and I burst into flames. Which is why I'm like, I am going to play D&D inside.
Yeah, that's true. Boom. That's true. D&D is a game you can play anywhere.
Reaching some sort of like media consumption precipice because there is a lot of stuff coming out.
There is.
More. And from last year to this year.
I'm happy about it because now it's no longer about wait until quarter 3, quarter 4 to release those big heavy hitters. I think now it's because there is just such a huge saturation in the market of so many different kinds of titles, which we've talked about. I mean, there's an evolution of titles. It's not just your shooter or puzzle game. Like, there's so many different kinds of games out there that people just like spend the time to make it and pick a month to have it come out because it needs to come out soon. And I'm glad that we're now seeing more of those titles come into the summer market. Not a huge amount. We still have a bit of a summer slog, but there's more. Yeah. There's more coming out in the summer.
Can we bring up Nintendo and how they're kind of releasing these games over time? Like,
sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of had an issue with this early on with Nintendo, but now that Splatoon has come out and we had ARMS come out, what was it, end of May? Something like
June
that. I can't remember right now.
We've had like a big release from them like every month basically since it came out.
So now that Splatoon's coming out, this is going to hold us over till these major games come out. If you have a Switch,
October is going to be the Super Mario, so that's we have enough now to keep us through.
Right.
And I think there's something coming out in August for it. I don't remember what it is, but there's something in August that'll be coming too. So, but I mean, what would be interesting to see is will this carry through to next year? Because this came out in March, so they had to have something to because people were like, "Oh, well, this is a Zelda system, and that's it." So they were like, "Well, we got to make sure we have stuff that's slowly creeping out." And
I think they've got enough titles to go behind them.
Yeah, I mean, we know that we're gonna get Yoshi and Kirby and Metroid and stuff at some point.
Eventually, we're gonna get our Smash Brothers game. Eventually, we know that that's gonna come. We've got the Mario. We've got. They've got titles. They've got enough IP to pull from.
Overcooked is coming to the Switch. I was pretty excited about that.
I just want everything to be on the Switch.
I love that game. I don't know why I'm so infatuated with Overcooked, but I am.
I know
it's so simple and quirky.
I don't care. I love it.
No, it's great.
I fucking love it. I feel like Gordon Ramsay screaming at people. Who the fuck's cleaning these dishes?
It's hard.
Sir.
It's hard.
Yeah,
but it's fun. Yeah. So that's been nice to have that to keep us busy in the days of slowness. But
so what does consoles have right now, minus the free games? I haven't been on a console since
I haven't touched mine a whole lot.
That's how bad it's been.
Yeah, there hasn't been much.
There hasn't been much in the way of a console release.
So if you're console exclusive, then you're feeling this slog right now.
You're probably feeling it, but again, I mean, as mentioned, like I think back to my summer times, and I had a fairly large library of games I needed to go back and play. Probably 4 summers ago, I think, was when I finally got into Wolfenstein.
Oh, nice.
Again. So I was like, man, I need to pick up Wolfenstein. It's been a while since I played, and I was waiting for another game to come out at the time. So I was like, to hell with it. Let's just play some Wolfenstein.
I think that's how I got into it. It was summer, and you were like, you've been telling me about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll play.
Yeah. So summertime. One thing that's interesting about this summer is that we had I've heard a lot of people saying that they picked up the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Been playing that. Right. So that came out, and this is crazy. So I was released my article last week about like games that I went back to, and one game that I did 100% complete back in the day was Kingdom Hearts. So last week I bought Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix, and I'm going to go back and play that because that's one game I do want to go back and play, as I love Kingdom Hearts. I thought it was fantastic. So I bought that whole collection. So that's something new that's like, I think that it'll be interesting to see if this is a trend that goes forward, because the Kingdom Hearts thing just came out a couple months ago at the beginning of the summer.
Right.
And then we had the Crash Bandicoot thing. There's been a lot of like remastered kind of things that we've been seeing popping up. I wonder if we'll see that continue onward in the future years. I don't know, because everybody wants a Spyro. That's the thing that's on the list.
It'd be nice to see some of our old favorites getting remade. I mean, we're already fucking doing it with movies. Like, we're remaking it and so many other things out there. Like, yeah, let's go ahead and let's remake some games that we.
Why not?
So I can relive my childhood.
All the ones they've been remaking, I haven't played before, so I'm very happy about it. But okay, here's a case for the summer slog. I think it's kind of nice to separate, the beginning of the year at the end of the year, and have a nice time to kind of catch up with what you haven't had been able to play. Yeah, because once fall comes around, it's almost nonstop. Because it used to be, even the beginning of the year was a little slow, But now the beginning of the years, at least the past 2 years, have been pretty like there's something coming out and you need to play it.
Yeah,
I remember my days working at the video game store, and I felt so this impending doom of October hitting, because it's like that time is like right when it's about to happen, and just like 30 games dropping at once. You're like, well, I guess I'm going to eat saltines for a couple months, but I'm going to be entertained.
You know, if you're a PlayStation owner, like right now, you're probably still playing Neo. You're probably still playing Horizon. If you got into Persona 5, you're still playing that because that's a 90-hour game. Yeah. And then Nier, I mean, those are all games that are like 30, 40 plus hours in time. So as a PlayStation person, like you have a lot to keep you busy throughout, especially if you're the summer, which
working,
is crazy.
Because I know some people only pick up like 2 or 3 games a year because they just can't get through it all.
Right.
Which sucks. I don't know how I couldn't do that. I would just not sleep.
Yeah.
I got to play these games.
Exactly. And I still have some other games that I picked up from last year. Like I want to play Doom still. Like I picked that up, so I'm going to jump into that pretty soon. I still want to play Arkham Knight, so that's on my list to jump into very soon.
What?
I know.
Brett.
I'm terrible.
I've already played that game 3 times.
I know. I was
amazing.
I was listening to somebody talk about games that they play and how often they play it. There was somebody that said that they played The New Order, Wolfenstein: The New Order, 21 times already.
Dang.
21.
Dang.
Now that's a game that I'm surprised to hear somebody saying that they played it that much, but that's how they've been biding their summer.
Speaking of that, wait, this summer?
Well, not just this summer,
just
but like
this summer. Okay.
Yeah, they've
I
several times this summer, but they're up to the point of like 21.
I've been meaning to get back into that just so I can catch up on the story, which I don't think you need to catch up that much for the new one coming out.
No,
but it was such a good game.
I still haven't played the old Blood or whatever.
That is a gamer's game.
Yeah, you played that, right? Yeah, it's a good game. It's a very good game.
Unexpected. Very, very classically made, like just like traditional old titles are made. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yeah.
Like the way you had to,
you had to like pick up ammo and shit on the floor. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And you didn't have
and
your health wouldn't.
Yeah, you had to pick up health from the floor. It was like going back to Call of Duty 1. It was weird.
When you first told me that, I was like, I don't what? No.
Yeah.
We've come so far, Brett. Why you playing
med packs. What?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Works out well.
Yeah. I like it a lot. So, yeah.
You have any friends who talked about the summer? I'm trying to think.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my friends have just been, they've literally been playing PUBG. That's been a lot of the thing that they've been doing, but I feel.
But they're the kind of gamers that pick up one game and stick with it.
Yeah, for sure. And I have a few friends that have been trying to get into some new titles. One of them was playing Paladins.
Nice.
The free game Paladins. So
me and Travis tried it.
I got friends still doing Overwatch.
Ditch it.
Yeah, for sure.
Ditch it.
And you got Doomfist. There's a lot of new content that came out for Overwatch this year, so that was good.
It's true.
But yeah, so it's pretty awesome. Well, anyway, so Summer Slog.
Not really a slog now that I think about it.
I mean, it was sloggy.
Yeah.
It was a little sloggy. Slog.
It's enough for me to get caught up on some of the stuff. Right. I got to catch up with Little Nightmares. And
I will say, like, just as a thought from it, like it is nice to think about the Summer Slog now not being a slog like it used to be, at least.
Right.
Like nowadays, I'd say probably like, as we've kind of mentioned, like within the last 5 years, probably we've steadily grown into this. It's catch up time.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily slow, but people are still able to be entertained with items.
Right.
Not like it was probably
2 or 3 years ago.
Man, when you would sit there thinking like, I'm gonna bash my head against the wall.
I don't want to play games anymore.
Yeah, you get bored.
Yeah,
real bored.
Oh yeah.
Then again, we were younger.
Release anything.
We had more ADD back then.
That's true.
As younger.
Well, that's another interesting thing too.
Now.
There's just more opportunities for more stuff to come out because now everybody does DLC. So if you don't have a game coming out, you have some form of DLC that comes out or some kind of add-on or what have you. Like there's so many different release opportunities for everything.
That's true.
Yeah. So
it's good stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you guys have anything else to chat about with the Summer Slog, or we good?
I think I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that covered it all.
Well, if you guys have any tips or suggestions for the Summer Slog and how you deal with it. Let us know in the comments. And yeah, we'll share and talk about it. Let us know what you
think. Let us know what you used to do during the summer.
Yeah.
When there was not a whole lot of games coming out.
Yeah.
What year was your worst summer?
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Everyone has their worst summer. Everyone knows.
All we did was play Worms.
We talk about your worst summer?
All we did was play Worms.
Yeah, well, I couldn't remember the worst summer, but I was just like a random.
You were pretty busy as a child and an adult, so
yeah. I mean,
you just be like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go work."
I mean, back when I was playing a lot of games, I'm just gonna ignore what just happened. Back when I was had more time to play games, I would just Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever game was the thing at that time, I would just keep playing that. Like that would carry me through the entire year. True. And then I'd have other things that I would intermix throughout that. But I mean, I played those a lot.
Man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Yeah. I would just get so fucking bored.
Well, and the thing was, I just had like a group of friends that were always there. Like that's what I enjoyed so much about it. If I jump in, like we're gonna be playing this, and I used to play competitive stuff a lot. So like that was part of we would get together 3 or 4 nights a week and we would practice positions and stuff in the map and figure out different plays and like all these things that we would do when we're playing our 5v5 search and destroy kind of missions and stuff. That was a whole different side of me back in the day. That's not me anymore.
That's when Brett was actually nerdy.
I know.
Anyway.
So awesome. Well, thank you guys for checking it out. And like I said, if you have any questions or anything you want to add to the discussion, let us know. And tune in next time. We'll be talking about some more awesome discussion stuff. And there's something you want us to talk about, please email us hello@theinnergamer.net and we will have a exciting
or the
topic,
comments, whatever's easier for you.
Yes. So
preferably email, but we'll take comments.
Yeah. And we'll give you a shout out. It'll be awesome. So check it out, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.